to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our good friend Dottie. Thank you. At this time, I would like him to say a few words about Dottie.
Dottie Ostrowski passed away recently, and she actually one of the buildings that are over in they named one of the buildings on State Farm Road after her, and she was very instrumental. She was the president of the Tri-Village Seniors, and she was very instrumental in cleaning that place. She made curtains, she painted, and at that time she was probably 80 years old, and she was just one heck of a woman, and she was tough, and she will be really, really missed. Her son recently came into town hall, and we, told him that we were gonna have a moment of silence for her. And but she was, in fact, Debbie, you remember when we had the parade for her?
Mm-hmm.
When we, we nominated, or not nominated, but we
Dedicated.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dedicated the building.
The building to her.
And so she was something else, involved in all kind of communities, community service, 4-H. She had the best tomatoes anybody could ever taste, and she would share them with us. So just wanted to just say that we're sorry to pass it.
Lived in good age of 93. I wish we all could say that. Yeah. I would like to make a motion. Oh, I have to open up the bid first. That's right. Tonight's our big night. This is for a truck body.
And we only received that one.
We only got one. This is from Wax in Steventown. This is to do our body of our new truck that we have. Okay, so this is the hardest thing. $10, Wax. Gotta go through a 400 page. Oh, that's what I wrote. $66,231.
That's not for the truck.
That's not for the truck, this is for the body.
How much was it?
$66,231 for the body. It's the only bid we have. We'll give this to, John for right now, but yes, make sure all the specs were put in. Yep. My body, I can't say is that much. Okay. Motion to accept the, amend the agenda and adopt it.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to amend and accept minutes of the meetings on February 3rd. Motion?
I'd like to make that motion. I'll second it.
Motion to authorize the budget transfers and amendments, if any. Motion to pay audit vendors a claim.
We had no budget transfers.
No budget transfers. And January bills.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
A fund, we transferred the vouchers for the following totals. We went through $29,998.58 for the A fund. The B fund was $6,910.86, and the DB fund was $67,634.54. A motion to accept all of them.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
That was
Motion-
already done. I'm sorry.
Okay, so direct all correspondence, there was none. No, I didn't have any, did you? All right, so public, presentation is going to be something that I have decided to do as supervisor and for the town. And it's very hard. I believe in life that we have to go with always saying thank you, I appreciate you, and you did a good job. I don't care what job it is, I don't care if you're a sweeper, I don't care if you're a CEO or anything, but there's people in this town that never wanted to take credit, but has done a lot. And I'm very proud to say that over the years in my life living in this town, I've noticed people that have always been there, no matter what it was. And it's very nice to see that. And tonight, with great honor, which he was not very happy about, I would like to give my first time is to Mr. Steve Matecki. Now, he's been a resident of Galatia since 1974. Retired Major of the Army of the National Guard, Registered Army National Guard, Vice Commander of the American Legion Post, member of St. Paul's Church, Columbia Little League, CYO basketball, 37 years teaching health at Columbia High School in East Greenbush, coach football, track, wrestling, lacrosse, active in Trout Unlimited, stock streams, plants tree, teaches catch and release, spends times in front of different school districts, classrooms, teaching children about fishing and ecology. Active fly fisherman, teaches fly fishing to Columbia Green Colleges, take veterans fishing, and he's retired from LL Bean with 10 years. But I, from the bottom of my heart, and the town board, we are honored that you are a community person and that you have been here and you never wanted to take recognition for all that you have done. So I would like to present you and with this acknowledgement. When I went to his house and wanted to present this man brought tears to his eyes when I said it. He said, I don't deserve anything. I always believe before we leave this earth that we should have people say thank you. And I'm saying thank you for all that you've done.
Thank you, no, I mean, hey,
So here,
thank you very much.
Outstanding Citizen Award,
Thank you.
and I appreciate it very much. Thank you. And it's lovely, you want to take some pictures with your family and your
Absolutely,
lovely
please.
wife of how many years? How many years?
47. 47. Let me have my, you guys up here too.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Mindy, why aren't you up here?
Oh, that's okay. Right next to Nana, honey.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. I also have to thank Stephanie, who conned everybody and talked to them without you knowing
That's right.
for a couple weeks.
That's right.
And Amy Feinberg for helping us putting this together and finding out and helping me get it all coordinated
Thank
and
you, Amy.
everything. So I have to say that they were great on doing this, they're good committee people, and I couldn't
Thank you.
have done it without them. So I wanna say thank you for
Thank
everything,
you, no, thank you for everything.
you know,
It's kind
so,
of undeserved, but thank you
oh,
again.
stop,
Really.
stop.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, every couple months I wanna do that, and I think it's nice that as a town, that we acknowledge people that have been here and done things. And it's, we don't always get recognized, and I have to say, I appreciate everything you've done over the years. And you look good and keep it going, please, you know, and I'll go fishing one day with you. All right. So next, departmental report, we have KISS program going on 3/16 to 3/26. Now, I just wanna say, if you guys wanted to take off, you're more than welcome to take off. You don't have to stay for the whole board meeting. I know. Chocolate mint, please.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Good seeing you. Stay married.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hey,
Thanks a lot. No, man, thank you. Thank you, sir. Nah, thank you. You guys are done. Thank you. We will, definitely. without doubt.
Jonathan, how are you?
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Oh, what a crew.
That was great. Thank you. That was great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. And thank you for coming out, guys.
Thank you.
Veterans and everybody. Okay. Okay. All right, committee and departmental reports. The KISS program will be going on the 16th to the 26th. That is for the seniors to keep their papers quiet and nobody will know it and so forth. It's right here in Glacier. Myself, I have been to Columbia County Opium Task Force, the CSA meetings. Columbia Memorial Hospital has an outpatient program for mental health and it's going very strong. I've left some paperwork in the lobby on information about it. Also that it's called the OD map. An OD map is a map that tells us where people are actually having overdoses, and it's been very helpful. Unfortunately, right now, over in Pittsfield, Mass, they've had recently in 1 week, they had over 5 overdoses, fatalities, and there's a couple others in a couple other areas, and so I hope that in September that we are going to do a little bit of outreach program at Volunteers Park, and a lot of agencies are willing to come, health department and so forth. I just have to start coordinating it and just to give people a little enlightenment. I had a school board meeting, not a school board meeting, but the school meeting that I'm on, the coalition meeting, and I met the new superintendent who was hands-on, very nice guy. So between law enforcement and principals, he's very aware of situations and what needs to be done, and he is willing to do it. So they're doing 2 DARE programs this year, 8th grade and 5th grade, through the sheriffs, and one of the deputies just became certified besides Wendy. So it's a lot of what they're doing. They're gonna do some outreach and information meetings about besides your drugs, your vaping is very big, your bullying and so forth, and cyber. The social media, they're gonna start trying to see about controlling some of that, and they're really on hands about it. So we're very fortunate to have a superintendent that is not blindsided and cares about the kids and their safety, and parents and so forth. So that's what I have to report about my committees that I've done. Anybody else have anything? Good? Okay. This time we'll do our public comments. You guys need to look. Right? That's next. Wait a minute.
Yep, you're right.
Okay. Okay. Karen, you're first on the sign.
Hi, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Karen Watt. I'm here as my capacity as president of the Sleepy Hollow Riding Club. We are a chapter of the National Old People's Riding Club. We're about one of 25 throughout the whole country. We've been operating in Columbia County since about 2002. We're about 22 members strong, mostly from Columbia County, right here, Kinderhook, Valatia area, and we have 1 or 2 from Greene and Rensselaer County. I'm here because it was brought to my attention today that we have been using, or we've used once, the trails, the new land purchased at the Volunteer Park, the one on State Farm Road. Last year, I think it was Greg Seaman from, I think the Town Rec Committee approached us and said we could use them, and it was great. We had an event there in the fall. We usually run our event at Acres property, and the town property joins that. So we use part of those trails as part of our obstacle course, or our scavenger hunt course. I provided the town with $1 million proof of liability insurance for that event, and it was brought to my attention today that the sign that was welcoming to equestrians is now saying private property keep out with the gates chained shut. So I just wanted to, respectfully request that the club be included in the discussion going forward on the use of that property. We're getting conflicting information, so I'm just here to ask if we could just kind of, be part of that going forward, so we can figure out if, what our options are or not, what the rules are, and if we're not
Karen,
allowed to be there.
I was asked to put up I asked to put the gate, chain up and the lock, not knowing what was going on. I saw ruts going up there. Then I saw your sign.
Right. Well, that
Bolted
sign
to
was
our
put
gate.
up by, the town, we didn't do that.
Really?
No, we did not put
See, I was
that sign
told,
up.
okay, so
See, this is
it's
what I'm
a,
saying.
it
It's
was
he
a
should-
lot
yeah.
of nobody communicating.
Exactly.
So I had no idea horses were being ridden up there. I called, Supervisor Grattan while I was there at the town park, and he had no idea whatsoever. We were into the process of getting a grant to put in for a parking area, but that was for, the grant to buy the pavilion. So I talked to Pat Grattan, he said, no, we were gonna do it by the pavilion, to put more parking over that way for a parking area. Come to find out, as I looked into it more, it is against the code.
Well,
It's-
that's what I was told
Right,
today.
it's 172.3, if I might be wrong, but it's around there,
Okay,
that, because I did that a month ago, that no horses are allowed to be, or any of that on town property.
okay.
So that was the other thing. Plus, Pat said he had no idea, and I had no idea. Apparently, our highway superintendent did know. So he might have, but I asked him to take down the sign and to lock up the gate until I looked into it further.
Okay.
Which we have to look. You can't have horses on.
I understand that,
On
and
the
that's why
town
I'm just
property.
asking that as you look into it, if we could be part of the conversation, that's all I'm really asking.
Yeah, because we had no idea it was even happening.
Because there's
don't
conflicting,
think
I'm getting
anybody in the board-
conflicting information from the town rec people, Greg Seaman to be specific, and Ed Hamilton, those are my two contact people. Who-
Yeah, he's not
What is
on,
he?
he's not on,
The town rec?
he's not on our town
I'll
rec
have to find out who they
whatsoever.
are, and then there was
It's Mark
another,
Kleinen, and we were
I
just,
talked to him,
Mark Kleinen,
Mark
and so,
Nicholson, Mike Nicholson, somebody Nicholson today.
no, he's not
There was
on
an
it either.
email, I'll have to find out who it is, because they're leading me to believe that they're gonna have conversations with the board going forward, and I don't know who they are now, I'm so confused.
Well, we do have a rec committee, and Mark Kleinen's the only name that you mentioned
All right,
that
well, I
was
guess
on
there's
it.
gonna be
And
conversations,
wait, and Ed Hamilton and Dave Delahunt, and I believe there's a Phil and Zach, Pinkowski.
Okay, well,
Zachary Pinkowski, so we have one filling to do, and that's what I have since and been doing,
Yeah.
besides all the other committees. This is only March, and
Yeah,
I said that to
yeah,
Mark.
yeah.
I mean, when he sent me an email, him and Ed both, I said, it is against the code.
Yep, That's what he told me today, and that's the
Yeah.
first we've heard of that, so I
Yeah.
understand that.
And Pat had no idea. Liability insurance wise, I really, I can't foresee it, and we could talk to our town attorney,
Mhm.
but with insurance and so forth, we're paying a lot of money with just our insurance alone, and God forbid, anything ever happens up there, nobody will even know that it's happening.
Right.
I don't know if you go by yourselves to ride a horse.
No, we have, the reason we used it was during a club event. It was a localized, advertised event that we purchased event insurance from our national organization. And I can name property owners, I had 3 property owners. It was Acres, Williams Farm across the street, and the town of Kinderhook. I asked Greg if I could get, if I should make the town, certificate of holder, whatever you call that.
When I asked
So I
Pat
did
Grattan,
present
he
that,
had
I have
no
a
clue.
copy of it, I don't know who he gave it to, I have a copy in
You
my
ever got it?
files, town of Kinderhook.
Well,
So-
and Karen, I was just gonna say, I mean, this is good that we now are aware of it and you reached out and we really appreciate it.
Okay.
And just so you know, it wasn't the town board or anyone
Okay,
looking to pick on your
No, I
organization
understand
or anybody
I
else.
understand that,
I mean, but it is set forth in the Kinderhook Code presently. It's in chapter 172, specifically 172-3, horses prohibited.
okay,
And it simply says, it shall be unlawful to ride, drive, or otherwise permit a horse to be upon the town playgrounds, parks, or recreation areas.
and that property is definitely considered town property.
Right.
Because they threw that at me as maybe that's not.
So and
technically
normally,
correct
and it's
either.
not your fault at all, I'm not saying that, but normally what happens, you know, I don't know if we have any tonight, but typically, like, for instance, with regard to this building, if there are, you know, organizations looking to come in, those requests are actually brought before the town board.
Okay,
They, you know, Kim reviews the insurance, she puts it on the agenda.
And the village
town-
board as well.
Yeah, and the
Okay.
town board talks about it, and approves it, so that would also be part of the process, but we'll have to look at it further, but I just wanted you to know we weren't picking
no,
on.
I didn't think you were at
No, and
all.
I had no
I didn't
idea
think
who
that
was
at
even
all.
using it, I'll be honest with you, because, the two people that I had emails with never said they had no idea, they kinda like didn't take credit for what they were doing, or who it was, or what was
Yeah.
going on.
The club had
And
nothing to
that's
do with
why
that
I
sign.
locked it, because first of all, God forbid something happens up there, nobody will know it, you know.
Yeah, I
And-
understand the
and
public use.
Nobody knew who was there, or nobody was taking ownership for it. I had no idea your club was even up there. I know of your club, I had no idea. You know, I would've contacted somebody,
Yeah.
but nobody was taking things, so that's why I did have the highway superintendent put a lockup on it.
Sure.
And did tell the town attorney until we find out more about it. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, that's, I guess, the only thing I'm asking is that if you allow us to.
We would have to change the code,
Well,
and that's the
somebody
thing.
put that
And
in
Greg
email to me
Seaman
today
has
too,
nothing,
that I wanna approach you about.
we, you know, Greg
Whoever
Seaman
this
has really
person
nothing to
was.
do with recreation committee whatsoever,
Okay,
so do
okay.
know that.
I didn't, see, and it was,
And-
they approached us, we didn't go to whoever they is at this point, I assumed it was the rec commission. It's whoever, Ed Hamilton and his wife Ann, they're the ones who told us about we were allowed to use that
Yeah.
property now.
Yeah, I talked to, I mean, I sent him
So,
an email.
however that all started,
We're
I'm
all
gonna have to
gonna
talk
sit
to Ed.
down and look at all that and so
That's all
forth, as
I'm
soon as I
asking.
finish that.
Yeah,
So you might want to send me an email.
will do.
And with your phone number and so
Perfect.
forth, and organization and everything.
Sounds
Now,
great.
are you the president of your
I am.
organization?
Yes, yeah.
That's what I would like.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your understanding,
No
too,
problem.
cause I was lost.
I think it would
I am now
definitely
too.
warrant a conversation if we sat down with them, maybe
Oh,
recommended all of us, so they know what's going
Well,
on.
we ha-
I mean, she's throwing out names and they're not even involved.
They're not
in
even
anything.
involved.
You know what I mean?
And,
They're
you know, when I-
setting the rules, but.
And if you heard Pat Grattan on the phone, I called him back then, that day, and it was a Sunday morning. I was just coming back from church, and I went in there and saw it, and I was like, and he said, absolutely. I was, when I saw the sign, cause it was, you know, it was the first time I was able to get close to it.
Yeah, the person I had the most conversation was Greg Seaman, so however he
And
fits
he's not on the
into all of
recreation
this.
committee,
Okay,
so,
and he
Just so
wasn't
you know.
last year either?
no.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I don't know the involvement, so I have to get my.
He's the one who
facts.
got the land for the town.
Okay,
He what?
He's the one who got the land for the town,
okay,
from the state.
okay.
He did?
If we're all in the
Yeah.
same room, it would definitely help. We'll all hear the
Yeah,
same
I
thing
think
at
you're
the
right.
same time.
Okay,
Thank you.
alright. Ed, is that you?
Yeah, that's the best-
Chicken,
that's the
chicken
best I
spread?
can do. That's the best I can do.
You know how to spell his last name by now?
Yep.
I will, so.
Easy.
I would think so, yes.
It's just, I mean, this is what I'm gonna talk about, but it's interesting how use of the earth changes with time. I remember as a kid in kindergarten, horses went everywhere, right? People went everywhere, they were like no boundaries, you could hunt anywhere, that's
I know that.
what.
That land I hunted.
But the other side of it is horses' hooves, with metal hooves on that trail, they're gonna chew it up. And it's primarily a trail, I think, for pedestrians, you know, and so.
There's no trails up there right now.
It's nothing,
I'm
it's
talking
not
about-
designated yet.
I'm talking about, the rail to trail,
Right, that's a different.
That's totally different.
and that, and horses go on there.
No, only bicycles and
Yeah, that's what I
walking
think,
and
yeah.
wheelchairs.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But it's just, but my point is, it's interesting how things change. As many of you know, I'm a member of Columbia County's Environmental Management Council, and one of the subjects we've been talking about now for well over a year is what to do about expanded polystyrene. Expanded polystyrene is problematic for the county with respect to getting rid of recycle those, because it was considered a contaminant. A contaminant such that if it's in part of those bales of plastics, nobody wants them, nobody wants them. So as I think we all know, China finally said, that's it, we're done, we won't take it anymore. So the question arises, do we really need expanded polystyrene? No, the answer is no. There are hundreds of plastics out there, and that one happens to be unmanageable or have a lot of negative impacts on the environment, on our ability to get rid of other plastics. So, and I've had talks with a lot of people, but anyway, so in our discussions, members' discussions at the ENC, they unanimously, on numerous occasions, said it's time for expanded polystyrene to go. Time for it to go, right? It's been declared illegal in Albany County. I think Greene County is working on it. There are counties and cities elsewhere that are working on ridding it of the environment. So, Patsy knows I appeared before one of the government committee meetings. Patsy, what you probably didn't know, that Ron Knott had written a letter to me, which I never saw
No.
until after that meeting was over. It had to do with the meeting.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, we got the email late, he went away or something, yeah.
But it was addressed to me, I never saw it.
Yeah.
I'm not finding fault in anybody, just relating the facts. And I assume we're going to be back. Okay.
Mhm.
And one of the suggestions that Ron made is to reach out to the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes,
And we've
yes,
done
he
that.
did. Did you?
Michael O'Hara met with
Good.
Jeff, we talked with him. And I think, what we talked about doing was creating a questionnaire, for those business persons that happen to currently use, expanded polystyrene. But it unfortunately, it still doesn't change the opinion of those 18, 19 people that feel it should go. And many, one of the many places that use it, don't use it anymore anyway, because they found other recyclable or compostable materials to take its place. So, need? No, not a need. Maybe around foundations, the extruded stuff, the language we have, that we propose does not preclude that use.
Right.
So I think what, the rest of the members are looking for, they're looking for either some discussion or support or some expression of denial with respect to it. I mean, it's everybody's issue. It's not just our issue, the EMC members' issue. It's an issue for all of us. So it's going to be nice to either get some support. You'll be at those meetings.
Yeah. I don't have many meetings to go to, so I like just to jump in on all of them.
So I'll expect next time.
You be my driver? No, that's right.
We can work that out. Maybe we can
Yeah.
barter it.
Bill, do you have anything?
Yes, I just wanted to ask if the board had decided upon a presentation for the Community Choice Aggregation Program, the Capital Regions Program. I don't know, Phil, have you guys discussed it at all?
No, he hasn't.
No,
Okay.
No.
it just came up at our meeting, last Wednesday.
Uh-huh,
We'd like to, bring Katie in to speak to the.
yeah, that's what I
Some
mean,
of
to
the
have
board
the board
members.
have
Yeah.
make a full
And-
presentation. You guys
On
kind of-
the,
And then before we
That's not
take it
electric?
to the,
Oh, no, definitely you
Yeah.
go to the board first to see if that,
Yes.
then,
Yeah.
okay.
But if you have Katie's information. you
yeah,
contact
so
her.
we'll be getting her and get that conversation going again.
Okay.
Yeah, with the, Climate Smart, committee agreed to start pushing that again.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else on the old business? New business? At this point? Assessor, Rick Noble. Would like to make a statement, not necessarily a question, but make a statement.
I just wanted to update the board and the audience that the revaluation project has now reached the third stage. The first stage was every household was mailed a card to notify the household members of the data collectors going up and down and taking photos, updating photos and file and inventory for each parcel. Once that portion was completed, we then mailed a property description report to each household, and as they were returned, these were sent out with the inventory that we have on our file at the assessor's office, and then they were asked to be returned with any corrections. Not everything that was written on this is considered a correction, so they were vetted and then entered into the system. About 4 o'clock when I left the office, our file has been sent to the state for verification. Once they say that we are at full market value, each resident will then get a notice of assessment. They should be somewhere around the second or third week of March. We currently have been at a 93% equalization rate. According to the state, we were actually at 88, but we were able to get them up to 93 because that certainly affects the value of our exemptions. We want to keep that equalization rate at 100% is ideal. The last time the reval was done was in 2013. So obviously there's been some market changes in the last 7 years. Those notices will go out. Once they go out, they'll also have a letter that I presented to the board inside that will tell people what to do if they don't agree with the full market value assigned to their home. It's a very simple process. There'll be informal meetings held in my office for those that want to present information. That's an informational meeting. It would basically be you bringing me an appraisal or comparable sales. And so with that, we're just now waiting for the state to say that we're at 100%. Yes, ma'am.
Do those postcards go out to everybody?
They were mailed to every taxing mailing address.
Okay, I mean, I didn't.
We've heard that quite a bit. We get a lot returned to people that we know.
Okay.
We can't help what the post office does, and because they did go out.
Okay.
It's the information's been posted on the website, on the town website.
Those went out a while ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these went out months and months and months. This went out, matter of fact, they probably went out in May. They went out 2 months before the data collectors went out. We got ones that were returned that we know they live there. So we can't help that part. But all of this has been on the website. We will post, the statement will be on the website when I get in the office in the morning. And then all of the informal information will be posted once we get back from the state.